until you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
A warm welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Frank Omalape. In our top story tonight, the Inspector General of Police Mohammed Abubakar visited just bombing scenes, declares federal government's commitment to ending terrorism in the country. Also in this program, United Nations Security Council Al-Qaeda Sanctions Committee set to vote on the status of Boko Haram. APC PDP throw brickbats over state of insecurity in the country after mass Ekiti campaign rally for Governor Kayode Fayemi. Outside Nigeria, new South African lawmakers mark re-election of President Jacob Zuma clad in red uniforms at the parliament.
And in business news, Ogun State government at its investment forum vows to reposition agriculture.
On sports tonight, FIFA launches project promoting sporting opportunities for disadvantaged youths ahead of World Cup.
We begin tonight. The Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Abubakar, visited the just bombing scenes and declared that the federal government was fully committed to ending terrorism in the country. The IGP commended the Plateau government's effort in the fight against insurgency and promised to continue to work with the state to tackle the menace.
This is a very unfortunate incident. We as security agency will do everything humanly possible to unmark those who committed this desertly act, and no government can tolerate this kind of situation anywhere in the world. Because of the concern and passion of Mr. President, has sent me here to come and see the level of what has happened. We'll convey back to the President what I have seen. Already investigation have started. All security agencies have partnered and connected and collaborated to ensure that we do what we are expected to do. I will appeal to the good people of Plateau State to continue to be patient and equally collaborate with security agencies in way of giving information and intelligence so that we can be able to unmark those who this very callous act.
The Director General of the National Emergency Management Agency, Sani City, has visited the site of the twin bomb blast in Jos that has claimed the lives of over 100 people, including 2 children. Said they promised assistance to the victims of the blast and says the agency is collaborating with hospital management in Plateau to provide adequate medication to those hospitalized.
Highly condemnable. On our part, as an agency, we are going to work very closely with the Plateau State government and the hospital management here to ensure that we assist the victims of this bomb blast so that they can recover very quickly.
The United Nations Security Council Al-Qaeda Sanctions Committee will on Thursday vote on the status of Boko Haram Coordinator of the National Information Center and Director, National Orientation Agency, Michael Mary made this known to journalists on the ongoing war against terrorism in the country. Nigeria had on Tuesday formally asked the United Nations Security Council Al-Qaeda Sanctions Committee to blacklist Boko Haram for the kidnapping of over 200 schoolgirls from government secondary school Chibok in Borno State last month. If there is no objection by the 15-member council committee, which operates by consensus, Boko Haram will be sanctioned. Omeri will express optimism that the council will cast a positive vote on the request, also puts the official casualty figure of the twin bomb blast in Jos at 75. Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu is demanding a united front against what he says is gradually becoming a culture of the bombing. He described the twin bomb attacks in Jos as callous and unacceptable. Ekweremadu noted in a statement that Nigerians could not afford to continue to live in this manner. He argued that those behind the insurgency are the common enemy. He urged all Nigerians to close ranks with a view to stamping them out. While Nigerians have been urged to stop blaming the federal government for the Nigerian army for the incessant Boko Haram attacks, a retired Army Colonel Adetuji Ajayi spoke to Oluwase Adegoke. Her report is presented from our studios.
The expectations of Nigerians on the government to quickly bring to an end the continued attack by the Boko Haram insurgents has resulted to blame from the general public. A retired Army Colonel Adetuji Ajayi says Nigerians should also fight to tackle insurgency and stop being the good people that will not fight back.
This one, we want to be the good boys. We don't want to be seen to have committed war crime because we have signed so many treaties as a nation, and so we want to do the thing normally. It is, you see, what happens is that Nigeria is not prepared to do the thing abnormally. That is why we have to do this thing abnormally. But the point is, we are all playing safe. We should have played the game dirty.
He debunked the claim that Nigerian soldiers are not well equipped. Ajayi explains that the army is not initially trained to fight insurgency.
One thing that is there is that there is no country that employed its own army to be fighting terrorism. No, it's an abnormal thing we are doing here. It is abnormal. But we have found ourselves in this situation. We have to accept it like that. And, instead of people looking at things rationally, there is hysteria all over the place. There is pandemonium all over the place. And people just talk what they like without having a proper understanding of the issues at stake. Infantry soldiers, those trained, to counter terrorism in large number deployed. Where will the government get resources to meet the requirement of such large force? I don't deceive myself. I was in service. We were in Liberia. It was not possible for the government to meet the requirement.
In spite of extension of the state of emergency and the intervention by the international community to rescue the abducted schoolgirls, the insurgency had taken a new dimension with an increased number of bomb attacks recently.
The lawyer who once represented the family of Boko Haram leader late Muhammad Yusuf has advocated for a meaningful dialogue with the Boko Haram sect. The lawyer Mustafa Zaina says dialogue is key to ending insurgency.
They said they don't want to negotiate with the government, and that's period. So for now, for them to turn around and say, well, we want, if we release these people, we will release them. So this along is a sort of an olive tree that is being offered. So I want the government to avail itself with this opportunity to grab whatever and then see the avenue for intervention or that framework of engagement with this group. And this intervention first should be by engaging the group in a talk or a dialogue. So for them to have a dialogue, meaningful dialogue, they have to involve the insurgents themselves, those that are in their own captivity. So if they can get them, engage them in a talk before they should release them to go and meet the leadership of the insurgency so that at least a framework for the engagements of these two groups will be made.
Nigeria Union of Teachers has directed its members not to come to school on Thursday, 22nd May, to protest the abduction of over 200 schoolgirls of Government Secondary School Chibok, Borno State. The national president of the union, Michael Olukoya, gave the directive in Abuja. Olukoya says the union has resolved to hold Bring Back Our Girls rallies simultaneously across the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. He added that out of the 173 teachers killed by the Boko Haram set, 170 were from Borno and 3 other from Yobe. He urged the government to show concern to the plight of the deceased teachers by compensating their families to soothe their misery. The NUT president says education should be publicly declared as fundamental human right and abridgment should be criminalized. He says that teachers are now living under constant fear of attack and their social condition has worsened. He stressed the need to secure the school system and guarantee a conducive environment for learning in the country. The All Progressive Congress says it holds the solution to the many problems confronting the nation and blamed the ineffectiveness of the People's Democratic Party for the many challenges facing the country. This is the high point of the official flag presentation to the party's candidate Kayode Fayemi in the forthcoming Ekiti governorship election. Ekiti State correspondent Rashid has details in this report from our studios.
In a bid to defend its decision for holding a public rally less than 24 hours after the twin blast in Jos that killed over 100 people, National Publicity Secretary of the All Progressive Congress says why the party did not cancel the rally.
If it were possible, we would not be here today celebrating. However, we are constrained to be here because we can't change the INEC timetable. However, out of deep respect and to reflect the mood of the nation today, we are going to cut out a lot of the fanfare.
The party's governors blamed the federal government for its inability to stem the rising insecurity in the country.
This is indeed not the nation that we have all dreamt of. But suffice it to say that we cannot just fold our hands on daily mourning and crying. Something must be done to bring about this change in the way things are done in the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Can we continue to have such people in government? For 50 years, our nation has been misgoverned and misused. Starting from Ekiti, going to Osun, Nigeria was a no to people.
The interim national chairman of the party, Bisi Akonde, presented the flag to Governor Fayemi, who says that APC has the capacity to take Ekiti State and Nigeria to a greater height.
We believe in a society built on constituents' mutual obligations to each other, in which we are all partners in progress. A society in which the state is committed to empowering all citizens, not just a few, to live to the fullest of their potential. We believe that our call to leadership is a covenant between us and our forebears, whose sacrifices ensure the creation of Ekiti State, and also between us and future generations for whom we hold the state in trust.
National leader of the party, Bola Tinubu, warned against the militarization of Ekiti during the election. He advised voters not to be afraid.
Who pay the salaries of army? We the people, we are their employers. They are supposed to protect us, right? Don't be afraid. Go there. Demand your rights. You will not have this again until another 4 years.
We are here to ensure that the people of Ekiti will have a government that our children will be able to benefit from and be proud of.
The Ekiti State governorship election holds on June 21st. This rally seeks to show how much support Governor Fayemi enjoys from the leadership of his party.
In a related issue, the leadership of the People's Democratic Party has accused the opposition party, All Progressive Congress, of celebrating terrorism in the country. It says the APC also have cancelled the governorship rally it held in Ekiti because of the just bombings where more than 100 people died. The National Publicity Secretary of the party, Olisametu, who briefed journalists after the weekly meeting of the members of the party's National Working Committee, says the APC remains the beneficiary of series of bombings in the country. When reminded that the PDP and President Goodluck Jonathan were in Kano a day after the first bombing at Chinya, Abuja, where over 75 died. Metu says that was in the past. The IPC, according to Metu, has shown that it is a party of hypocritical lots will thrive only when there is violence. He asks Nigerians to make their deductions by asking political party in benefiting from the spate of bombings in the country. You're watching CoreTV Primetime News. We'll take a short break. We'll return in a moment. Join us again.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ghana. Please remain seated and ensure your seatbelts are fastened. You can now turn on your MTN mobile phone data to enjoy a browsing rate of 5 kobo per kilobyte with MTN One World. Thank you.
Absolutely. Browse like home with MTN One World. Surfing the web from any MTN operating country costs the same like home. Enjoy affordable rates when you call and send text messages. Terms and conditions apply.
MTN. Everywhere you go.
The global competitive map is changing with the rapid advancement of Africa. If you're not speaking to Africa this time, perhaps you're not speaking at all. Join the continent's leading public relations practitioners at the 26th edition of the All-African Public Relations Association Conference, APRA Mauritius 2014. Venue, Le Méridien Hotel, Point aux Piments, Mauritius. Date, 27th to 31st May 2014. Theme, Advancing Africa. For further details, visit www.afapr.org. Africa, it's time to find your goals. Supported by
this one wash challenge, you test Ariel to see if it removes stains in one wash. Let the challenge begin. First, chocolate and juice. We will wash shirts with Ariel. Look, Ariel has cleaned in just one wash. So which detergent removes stains in one wash? Ariel, P&G everyday quality brand.
Every day, every hour, and every minute. News break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Okay, so just joining us, this is CoreTV Primetime News. A former Vice President Atiku Abubakar is pushing for an all-party conference to forge a united approach to dealing with the spate of insecurity in the country. This, according to him, is because persistent terrorist violence against innocent Nigeria is unbearable and intolerable. The former Vice President said this in a press statement against the backdrop of the latest bomb attack in Jos that killed at least over 100 people. He advised Nigerians not to despair and succumb to what he insists is terrorist blackmail, which is aimed at paralyzing the country with fear and ultimately turning Nigerians against one another. Atiku also called on politicians to be united in condemning terrorist violence against innocent people, adding that terrorists enjoy dividing public opinion in order to justify their atrocity. As the 2015 general election approaches, public affairs commentators have charged Nigerians to rise above ethnic and religious sentiments and uphold the spirit of patriotism in voting leaders into power. Motaya Law in this report took Achike Chude and Sylvester Akaine up on election matters when they visited our studios. The report.
Mixed reactions have been trailing the build-up towards the 2015 general elections in Nigeria. Some believe that with the deplorable security condition in the country, the polls may not be completely free of violence and manipulations. Recently, a delegate to the National Conference proposed an 18-month extension for the commencement of the general elections slated for February 2015, citing security concerns. Expressing his fears on the forthcoming elections, Achike Chude says past electoral events have not been quite encouraging.
It's hazy, cloudy and uncertain, because you have a situation where it is even debatable if elections are going to be held in 3 of the northern states in the northeast, where you have this insurrection, Borno, Yobe State and Adamawa State. there is that thinking that the election might not hold. And then, of course, there's also the politics of it. The opposition is saying that, look, the PDP does not have the intention of conducting this election. So as far as they are concerned, this insurrection or this insurgency will continue to make it impossible for them to conduct an election in those states. And of course, you know that those are the strongholds of the opposition party.
Sylvester Akaine, also a public analyst, spoke in the same vein.
All the parties are bereft of ideology. There are no ideological articulations within the party. You know, all that happens is contestation for position within the party and position within, you know, public offices. And that's basically what is going on. And I think that this deficit, you know, has had a lot of implication, you know, for Nigeria. It means that because politics is unideological, therefore not principled, and politics therefore cannot deliver what we've come to regard as the dividends of democracy.
On the way out of the current situation, the public affairs commentators say the power of liberation lies in the hands of individual Nigerian citizens.
So Nigeria is like a melting point, a center of heritage for the black people and so on. So we have to, you know, live according, you know, to the potentials that we have as a country. And so I want to believe the best, in spite of the fact that what we see on ground, you know, are frightening, and the scenario that we're looking at is terrifying. But I hope that we get out of this situation. But we are not going to get out of this situation until everybody, especially those who are the receiving end of bad governance, make up their mind that we have to make this country work, that we have to be able to challenge those people that are taking us backwards. Until we do that, until we assert ourselves as a people, I doubt whether we can move, you know, move forward in Nigeria.
Well, Nigeria has become extremely anomic. You know, we are in a state of anarchy. And times that we are now demand the patriotic effort of every Nigerian, you know, to take the country out of the brinks.
In the history of Nigeria politics, godfatherism, electoral malpractice and corruption have always characterized the system. But in the face of insecurity and national unrest, Nigerians are expected to vote for the right candidate and not relent in the fight against terrorism. Omotayo Alo, CoreTV News, Lagos.
The federal government has inaugurated a committee to implement the white paper on restructuring of federal government agencies and parastatals. The 12-member committee is headed by Secretary to Government of the Federation, Ayim Pius Ayim. It will exercise overall responsibility for the implementation of the white paper. It's also to ensure effective coordination and monitoring of the process. The committee was inaugurated by Vice President Namadi Sambo, who charged the members to complete the tasks within the shortest possible time. Responding, Committee Chairman Ayim Pius Ayim says the members will do everything possible to live up to expectations of Nigerians. Bayelsa State government has withdrawn a suit it filed before a federal high court in Abuja to compel the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to remit back to it the money it recovered from its former governor, Depriye Alamisia. The contentious fund was said to be in two parts, 1.4 billion naira and 1.3 million US dollars. The money was recovered from Alamisia upon his conviction by a federal high court in Lagos in 2007. Justice Adeni Ademola struck down the suit following the application for discontinuance filed by the state government through its Attorney General. The state government had mandated the managing director of Panic Alert Security System, George Ubo, and the lawyer Anthony Agbolaho to help recover the funds. The EFCC and its chairman, Ibrahim Lamodi, were the defendants in the suit. A lawyer appeared for the plaintiff for further hearing in the suit, only for him to be informed by the presiding judge of a pending application for discontinuance filed by the Bayelsa State Government's Attorney General. He insisted that he was going to proceed with the case, arguing that his state Attorney General lacked the power to discontinue a civil case without the knowledge of the private lawyer engaged by his state. Justice Ademola, however, held that since the case was instituted in the name of Bayelsa State and its Attorney General has written to discontinue it, the court had no justification to continue hearing it. Authorities of the Lagos State University have approved a new academic calendar for the 2013 and 2014 session in the midst of an indefinite strike declared by lecturers of the institution. The University Deputy Registrar, A.T. Fatogun, admitted the commencement of the lecturer strike, but urged students to go about their normal academic activities. The calendar has scheduled May 19 and May 20 for student resumption and online registration, while lectures will hold for 11 weeks from May 19 to August 1. In a swift reaction, also ASU chairman says members had fully complied with the strike and that academic activities at the institution have been suspended until their demands are met. He added that students had the right to go about their normal academic activities, but lecturers would not be available to teach. Watching CoreTV Primetime News, we'll take a short break. We'll be right back in a moment. Join us again.
The global competitive map is changing with the rapid advancement of Africa. If you're not speaking to Africa this time, perhaps you're not speaking at all. Join the continent's leading public relations practitioners at the 26th edition of the All-African Public Relations Association Conference, APRA Mauritius 2014. Venue, Le Meridian Hotel, Point Oxpiment, Mauritius. Date, 27th to 31st May 2014. Theme, Advancing Africa. For further details, visit www.afapr.org. Africa, it's time to find your voice. Supported by
This One Wash Challenge will test Ariel to see if it removes stains in one wash. Let the challenge begin. First, chocolate and juice. We will wash shirts with Ariel. Look, Ariel has cleaned in just one wash. So which detergent removes stains in one wash? Ariel, P&G Everyday Quality Brand.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ghana. Please remain seated and ensure your seatbelts are fastened. You can now turn on your MTN mobile phone data to enjoy a browsing rate of 5 kobo per kilobyte with MTN One World. Thank you.
Absolutely. Browse like home with MTN One World. Surfing the web from any MTN operating country costs the same like home. Enjoy affordable rates when you call and send text messages. Terms and conditions apply.
MTN, everywhere you go.
Nigerians continue to
Tonight, the city of Lagos waits agog as all routes.
Be the first to know. From the north, south, east, west, and around Africa, we break the news.
One Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are CoreTV News.
Welcome to CoreTV.
A 24-hour news station.
Hello there, you're welcome to Business News. I am Sabena Izuku. The Ogun State government is repositioning the agriculture sector to attract investors from across the world. Ogun State plans to be the fastest growing investment destination in Nigeria. Jumoke Olatunji was at the Ogun State Investment Forum and brought back this report.
Showcasing the areas of investment opportunities and creating an enabling environment for business, the Ogun State government says it is aggressively promoting agriculture and encouraging investments in the sector.
Improve available infrastructure while developing new ones, and encourage genuine investors to acquire land by offering them significant discounts at various levels. To aggressively promote agriculture, which has been identified as the pivot of our industrial plan. Our vision for agriculture includes expansion into the agro-processing industry along the value chain. Presently, only about 20% of our farm produce is processed. The rest is sold as cash crops or left to rot due to insufficient processing capacity. This we need to change, and we must change.
Ogun State is said to be the highest producer of rice and cassava in the country. Former Minister of Information, Audu Ogbe, says climate change, bank loans, poor equipment, and the present insecurity are some of the challenges facing the present-day farmer. He suggested key strategies for the state government to achieve the booming agriculture sector of its desire.
Mechanization, a few more dams, earth dams, which are not too expensive,
so we can do 2 or 3 crops a year. And then motivating younger people, and the only way of motivating them is by finding support for them and by giving them machines to work with. Machines give the young people status. They become stars in the village because they operate machines. They can earn money because they get to the farm, harvest the rice farm for the farmer, and in 2-3 days the farmer is free of his rice and can go for the next crop. Now, if you bring these in to a certain level and have them available in senatorial districts and eventually in local government areas, you'll be amazed how much output you'll get from even the poorest of farmers. And finally, the poultry farmers must recognize that the chicken waste, which they're currently throwing away, is the biggest source of manure, which President Fox talked about, for growing organic crops, which will command for you a 20% price in the world market. So the chicken waste is revenue. You can even convert it to electricity if you decide to go into biogas.
The State's Commissioner for Agriculture, Ron Kashikafon, says the government has made incentives available for youths who have the intention of going into agriculture.
We're working with the young people because we have looked at the farming population and realized that there's a dearth, and if we're not careful, we will have a gap in the next 5 to 10 years, and farmers will become totally and completely extinct.
Prompted on a mission to improve on the last edition of this forum and a course to divert from the oil-based Nigerian economy, the Ogun State government has planned to inculcate more on agricultural risk and the agricultural value chain of the state, hoping that this will pave way for more investments in the agricultural sector for the benefit of the residents of Ogun. Olajumoke Olatunji, CoreTV News, Abeokuta.
And the United States Secretary of Commerce, Penny Pritzker, has given conditions that will motivate more American companies to invest in Nigeria. Pritzker, who is leading 20 American companies on an energy business development trade mission to Ghana and Nigeria, spoke to a group of business leaders in Lagos and urged the federal government to urgently involve Nigeria's business community and civil society in the fight against corruption. The United States official says American companies would invest in countries that observe rule of law, maintain ethical standards, promote workplace safety, and encourage training. She advised the Nigerian government to implement its public procurement laws according to international best practice and sign the World Trade Organization Government Procurement Agreement. Pritzker urged the Nigerian government, business and civil society leaders to close ranks in developing solutions to the challenges facing the environment. Chairman of Heirs Holding, Tony Elumelu, who spoke on behalf of other business leaders, described the visit as not only important but also strategic. The managing director of Nexum Bank says arrangements has been concluded for ECOWAS to close a shipping concern that will serve the sub-region. Robert Oyer told journalists in Abuja that the company, Seal Link Shipping Company, is to be established by ECOWAS at a cost of $60 million. The company, initiated by Nexum under public-private partnership, would own a vessel and is expected to begin operations in December. The mainly cargo consignment company is set up to promote the development of the regional maritime business that will be private sector driven. Oyer added that the shipping concern will be of immense benefit to Nigerian manufacturers and exporters, as it would allow a structured access to markets in West and Central Africa. United States-based database firm eBay has asked users to change their passwords following a cyber attack that compromised one of its databases. The firm was hacked between late February and March early and had contained encrypted passwords and other financial data. The auction site added that it had no evidence of there being unauthorized activities on its members' accounts. However, it said changing the password was best practice and will help enhance security for users. The Californian-based company has 128 million active users and accounted for $212 billion worth of commerce and its various marketplaces and other services in 2013. And on the stock floor, equities on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange ended on a bearish note today. as the Nigerian Stock Exchange All Shares Index depreciated by 0.15% to close at 39,102.77 basis points compared with the appreciation of 0.40% previously recorded. Market turnover closed positive as volume traded appreciated by 185.18% to close at 12.91 trillion naira. At the end of trading, a total volume of 852.3 million ordinary shares valued at 10.22 billion naira were traded in 4,689 deals. Nigerian breweries topped the gainers chart, followed by Flour Mill PLC, Total PLC, Owando and the ETI, while Seplat led the losers chart, followed by Guinness PLC, Con Oil, Dangote Cement and Calverton. And here are the top 5 trades for today. And that's it on business news. And over to sports. Tulu, I trust you're going to give us some interesting stories.
Good evening, I am Tolu Ojomi. Now to the ever-exciting world of sports. FIFA Secretary General Jerome Vaki took to the page with Ronaldo in Rio de Janeiro favela to launch a project promoting sporting opportunities for disadvantaged youths during the World Cup. Vaki kicked the ball around the small pitch with Brazilian Sport Minister Aldo Rebelo, two-time World Cup winner Ronaldo, and a group of children and teens at the Football for Hope launch event. According to FIFA, the project is a unique and global movement program that uses the power of football to achieve sustainable social development.
And this final in Caju will be as important as the one which will be played in or at the Maracana.
A Nigeria goalkeeper Vincent Anyama is brimming with confidence ahead of this summer's World Cup. He says the Super Eagles have what it takes to reach the semi-finals. The Super Eagles have never made it past the round of 16 on the previous 4 occasions that they qualified for the final. But the Lily goalkeeper says they can cause a surprise this time. Nigeria meets Argentina, Bosnia and Herzegovina and Iran in the group stages. Bayern Munich's Thomas Muller has admitted that he has a special relationship with Louis van Gaal. This is coming at the heat of reports that the newly appointed Manchester United manager has made the attacker one of his primary summer transfer targets. The German international became a first-team regular during the judgment spell at the Allianz Arena between 2009 and 2011 and has not forgotten about his former mentor. Now to tennis. Olympic bronze medalist Robbie Grabbers will miss the rest of the season after deciding to undergo knee surgery. The high jumper had a tendon problem in his left knee for a year. Grabbers will miss the Commonwealth Games in August and will be unable to defend his European high jump crown. Grabbers is the first Briton to win the European high jump title since 1950. Now about African Youth Games, a total of 115 athletes are representing Nigeria at the African Youth Games holding in Gaborone, Botswana from May 22nd to 31st. The athletes departed for the games on Tuesday from Abuja and will be featuring in 16 sports. Nigeria won 10 medals at the first edition of the games in Rabat, Morocco with 68 athletes, but athletes are hopeful of surpassing that feat at this year's edition. Shortly before their departure, the Minister of Sport and Chairman of the National Sports Commission, Tammy Danagogo, urged the athletes to be worthy ambassadors and bring glory to the country. That That's it on the ever-exciting world of sports. I'm Tolu Ojeomi. Now over to Frank Omalape.
Very much for joining us again. For more information on our news and other programs, visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/CoreTV News, and on Twitter handle at CoreTV News NG. Of course, on YouTube, www.youtube.com/CoreTV Space News. And outside Nigeria now, radical new South African lawmakers shake up the normally opening of parliament by turning out for the formal re-election of President Jacob Zuma in bright red overalls topped by red beret and hat. The economic freedom fighters say that Zuma's African National Congress has betrayed the trust of 4 black South Africans since taking power at the end of apartheid 20 years ago. The newly formed party, led by breakaway ANC Youth League Julius Malema, won 25 seats in the 400-seat parliament in elections earlier this month. Members of parliament representing other parties wore traditional suits.
We feel that this is history in the making, and it's a symbol of what's going to come when we do become a government in the not-so-distant future.
The reason why we have this vibrancy of democracy is because of the policies of the ANC of ensuring that there's plurality of views in our country, so that this rainbow nation must have the advantage of all views and persuasions in South African society.
Well, a knife-wielding attacker went on a rampage at a Chinese primary school, wounding 8 school children with one serious hurt. The 35-year-old suspect, whose surname is Chen, rushed into school, marching in the central province of Hubei, and began slashing at students with a kitchen knife. Police apprehended Chen at the scene. The 8 injured pupils are hospitalized. China has seen several violent attacks against children in recent years, including a spate of 5 incidents in 2010, which killed 17 people, and 15 of them children, and wounded more than 80 people. Last March, a man killed 2 relatives and then slashed 11 people, including 6 children, outside a school in China's commercial hub, Shanghai. Well, and the main news again. The Inspector General of Police Mohammed Abubakar visited the just bombing scenes, declares federal government's commitment to ending terrorism in the country. We also told you that United Nations Security Council Al-Qaeda Sanctions Committee set to vote on the status of Boko Haram. Well, and that has been the package on our primetime news tonight. Many thanks for watching. I am Frank Omalape. Have a good night rest.